This ball is crushed. Man, what a shot. Our step back three on the way. Oh, it banks in.
Welcome back. It is the Brothers and Ball podcast. A little bit of a hiatus for myself and for Mike. I'm joined alongside Michael Douglas. My name is Christopher Douglas. We're going to get into everything NFL. Week 1 is finally upon us. We are here on Sunday morning, just ahead of the first full slate of NFL games. And before we get into anything, of course, we're going to talk about the Cowboys and the Bucks on Thursday night. We're going to get into our season expectations for our New York Jets. And, of course, we're going to break down what you should be betting on today and in going forward here, some of the marquee matchups for today's slate. But, Mike, how are you feeling, man? It's been a while.
Been a long time. It's an exciting day. You see, I'm ready. Got the B Marsh white on, ready to go. Excited to see what's going to happen today. Got a glimpse Thursday of what the season's going to look like. Exciting stuff, and I'm ready to get going.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to kick things off by, of course, recapping what went on here. The Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers opened the NFL season about as good as you could possibly expect it to be. And it was all the way down to the wire. Tom Brady finishes off the final drive to, with a field goal from Ryan Suckup, 31-29, to outduel Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. So there was a lot that went on in this game. Dak threw for 400 yards. The Buccaneers surprisingly had 4 turnovers and still overcame that for a win. So point out to me what stuck out to you in this game.
Few things, and I'm gonna start on the Cowboys side. I think we all expected the Bucs, to look like they did offensively. Brady slinging it all over the field. I'm gonna start with the Cowboys. I think Dak coming back, like you just said, throwing for 400 and change. I think is a huge sign for Dallas and for the NFL. And I got to give you your credit. I was wrong on Dak. This guy is elite, and he's trending toward the top 5 quarterback. He's trending toward a top 5 quarterback. And this offense is going to be elite. I mean, Cooper and Lamb were monsters. Gallup, who you don't like, he catches balls. I mean, I don't know what he had 4 catches for 36 yards in the first half. He was big in the first half. Dalton Schultz looks like he's taking the next step. He had a lot of reps last year with Jarwin out. Jarwin doesn't look like he's getting that job back. They forced the turnovers. Missing the field goals was a problem. I like where Dallas is going. I think we expected this from the Bucs. I think everyone was curious to see what Dallas was going to look like, what Dak was going to look like. Year 2 under McCarthy, Dan Quinn, new defensive coordinator. So we'll see. I mean, Dallas' secondary is going to be they're going to be in trouble for most of the year, but it is also hard to gauge when you have Evans, Gronk, Godwin, Brown. I mean, there's too many weapons. Nobody's really defending that. So we'll see as the year goes on what that secondary looks like for Dallas. But offensively, they're going to be tough to stop. We are going to need what's his face, Greg Zerloin. He's going to have to start making some kicks. He missed some big ones. This game's played differently if he makes these kicks.
Absolutely.
So, and to me, the Bucs, I mean, they were just as advertised. I mean, they're going to be really, really tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, in a game where the running game was non-existent, Zeke is leading the NFL in rushing with 33 yards right now. If you watch the game, Zeke was horrible. He could not get anything going. He was horrible in the run game, but pass protection, he's pretty elite in that section of the game. He was picking up huge blocks and getting Dak some extra time. I don't want to say Zeke had a bad game, but when the ball was in his hands, he did not turn heads. Leonard Fournette really, he did the bare minimum for them as well for Tampa Bay. And Ronald Jones got himself put in the doghouse again like he did last year.
Again, fumbling.
Right, and we barely saw Giovanni Bernard at all. So it was interesting to see that this game had nothing on the ground at all. Stars in the game included Antonio Brown, 120 yards on 5 catches and a touchdown. Chris Godwin had 9 catches for 105. Cooper caught 13 balls for Dallas. He had 2 touchdowns. 139 yards. CeeDee Lamb, although had one bad drop that ended up being Dak's interception.
He had a few drops. So on that first drive, Dak threw one behind him. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and then the next pass was in his hands and he dropped it, and that was it for me. Then he dropped the one for the interception. I like Lamb a lot, but two of those three have to be caught.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He started off, it was the first drive that he dropped a few, and then one more on the second drive, I think.
Yeah, the interception.
I mean, he had 7 catches, but 15 targets. So we're talking about, a lot of those didn't get corralled. But what I wanted to talk about here very quickly is the Dallas Cowboy defense. It's clearly a different unit. It's clearly not what we saw last year, and they're able to at least make some plays and force some turnovers. Now, key additions are Demonte KZ, who had the forced fumble on Chris Godwin going down at the very end of the game there to give Dallas a chance to take the lead. Because if Tampa Bay puts in that touchdown,
right, game's over.
It's done. So that is a massive play, and Godwin, did the thing where he was trying to cover it up. He wasn't reaching for the end zone. It was just a great play by KZ. So some of these new additions are turning out to be game changers early for Dallas. What did you think of Dallas's defense, and what are their expectations for the year?
Okay, first things first. They did not generate enough pass rush. With the lack of depth in the secondary, that pass rush has to be elite. And ever since DeMarcus Lawrence got paid, he's been non-existent. I know he punched the fumble out in the first half, but he's not pressuring the quarterback. They need that. I'm interested to see Randy Gregory. He had his first full off season. So we'll see. I feel like Lawrence and Gregory can really generate some pressure. Another thing I did not like that I saw with the defense is that Micah Parsons and Keanu Neal were playing together. Vander Esch, Jalen Smith playing together. You never saw Parsons play with that first unit. They always rotated 2 linebackers, 2 and 2 all game long. To me, you're gonna have to see if you drafted Parsons in the first round, so you're clearly committing to him. You're gonna have to play him with who you think is your guy. Keanu Neal's not your guy, right? Jalen Smith, Vander Esch in a contract year. I mean, these guys got to play. So obviously their scheme, clearly only includes 2 linebackers, but Parsons has to be out there. He can't be taking half the snaps. I know he looked lost on a couple of plays, but that's your first round rookie. He's got to play. And I'm going to be honest, I thought Vander Esch looked a step slow. I think you need to play the speed of Jalen Smith and Micah Parsons together and just let them fly around the field. Let Parsons take his lumps. They're going to make some plays. They're fast. They can run.
Yep.
So and then obviously the secondary outside of Diggs, I'm struggling. Jordan Lewis to me is a slot guy, which is fine. He can be your slot guy, but then you got Anthony Brown using the other side, playing the other outside corner. He's not the guy. We've seen him over the years. He's not it. So I don't know. Sherman's still sitting out there. I don't know why you can't just go Sherman, pair him back with Dan Quinn from Seattle, and let him and Diggs run the outside, and then you let Brown and Lewis play, in the slot, which is what they've been doing.
Yep. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, especially on that last point where the secondary is going to need a lot of help going forward. And one of the shortcomings of the secondary was that very last play that sealed a field goal for Tampa Bay. It was the Godwin catch on the sideline. Yeah. Now, was that offensive pass interference in your opinion?
In today's NFL, yes. I love the no call though. I think that's how the game should be played.
Right.
The only problem I have is that, if that play is made in the first or second quarter, they're calling an offensive pass interference. It's because it's the last drive. It's because it's the Bucs. It's because it's Tom Brady. I feel like they let it go and they let the players play, which I don't mind. I just want it to be consistent. Like I said, second quarter they're calling it.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I tend to think it was just a great catch, pass and catch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd love it if that's the game. If that's how the game's going to be played, I'd love it. it.
Right. I mean, it was a perfectly placed ball, and freed himself up just enough. He slightly extended the arm, but it's up for debate. That caused a lot of
perfect throw, perfect catch. I mean,
right. Dallas fans are heated over that one.
Yeah, but you know what? To me, they should be more heated at the fact that their kicker's missing kicks and that you forced 4 turnovers and still lost the game. I think Dallas did enough to win this game. There's just those few little things. They got everything they needed. They got the turnovers. Dak looked fantastic, They just missed those few opportunities, And it stinks that your kicker, essentially lost you the game, but
Yeah,
he did.
and coming off of off-season back surgery, Greg Zuerlein, so he wasn't able to do any preseason stuff. I mean, I get it. Kicking in practice should be the same thing as kicking the game, but it's simply not. So you need that game action, and you clearly saw that he came out slow.
So, yeah, I mean that's on him. He lost the game.
100%.
The other thing that almost came back to bite Dallas that no one is talking about is at the end of the half, Zuerlein had missed a field goal. He had missed an extra point already. And McCarthy, with, maybe 30, 40 seconds left in the first half, opted to kick a 60-yard field goal.
Right.
Which was
Right.
missed.
I
The
didn't
ball was
like
placed
that
at
call.
midfield, and the Bucs almost got more points. So, there's some work for Dallas to be done all the way around here.
Absolutely. But definitely a strong start, I would say, for both teams. A lot of people saying it's a moral victory for Dallas. But moral victories don't really count on that on that win-loss record. You're going to have to pile up some wins in division in order to take care of that thing.
Real quick as well, the Bucs. We haven't talked too much about them, right? Really?
Right.
If Antonio Brown is going to be a number one wide receiver, this offense gets scary. Gets real scary. I'm telling you right now.
That's correct. He was open all game, and we kind of talked about the shortcomings of Dallas's secondary. But if he's able to generate that type of performance regularly, then we're talking about probably the best offense in football, despite not having a run game. Seriously.
I mean, look, just a couple years ago, he was the best wide receiver in football, and it wasn't a debate. There was no debate.
Right.
So
that's a fact. I don't think he's far removed from that. I think how he just kind of suckered his way back into playing with Tom Brady, and it was the smartest move he could have made.
Big time.
But I do want to switch gears. Of course, a fantastic way to open the season there. We hope that this Sunday slate can follow it up. I don't want to talk about specifically today's game because we are going to get to it a little bit later. But for our New York Jets, we have to talk about the expectations this year. Vegas over under for the wins is right at 5.5 or 6 even. Looking at their schedule, there's definitely that many winnable games. It's just a matter of if they can come away with a few. So there's a lot of turnover with this roster. We're gonna be missing. The New York Jets will not have Jameson Crowder today. Keelan Cole's questionable offensively, so we're gonna see some new faces for sure, including number 2 Zach Wilson, quarterback. What are your expectations for the New York Jets this season?
So the expectation is we're not going to see – they're going to be playing hard every game. Salah has completely flipped the culture, all right? They have an identity. Over under at 5.5, they're going to win more than 5.5 games just based off playing hard. Like you said, there's that many winnable games on the schedule. And look, today, most people have chalked up as a loss. I mean, you never know. You sneak one or two of these kind of games out, and you're going to beat that over under. We just need to see a culture change. We need to start hitting on these picks. Some people were killing Joe Douglas, because Jabari Zuniga didn't work out. But I think they have some players from last year's class, and then this year, right? Elijah Moore, you stole, right? You moved up for Vera Tucker, which was great. You got your quarterback, it looks like. So I don't know. I see the Jets trending up. I see maybe 6 wins if they have, if they play as well as they possibly can. I see 7 or 8, but I can't see any more than that. But I do see a franchise heading in the right direction.
Definitely. That's definitely where I'm at as well. A huge loss was the fact that Carl Lawson is not going to get to play this season. Ruptured Achilles in preseason training camp. So that's just a huge hit to a defense that was probably going to be the better unit on this team.
Yeah.
Now we're right. So now we're looking at Shaq Lawson coming in to replace Carl Lawson. The linebackers are also a little bit depleted. Gerard Davis got injured against Green Bay. That was supposed to be a starter this season. So it's going to be C.J. Mosley and 2 rookies with the linebacking unit. So we haven't even gotten to the corners yet. Bless Austin was the most veteran one. He's cut. He's gone. He's in Seattle now. So you're talking about Bryce Hall and a cast of characters. Javelin Guidry, who
Rookies.
just got his real time last year as a
Yeah.
slot player. And then the rest is rookies, seriously. You're not going to see anyone with a lot of experience in that secondary besides Marcus May and LaMarcus Joyner over the top.
Yeah, so you brought it up. You took the words right out of my mouth. We were just talking about Dallas secondary. Jets are worse secondary on paper.
Yeah.
Bryce Hall, obviously, he's only in his second year, but he's your number one corner right now. And Guidry, you mentioned, he's going to play the slot. We know that for sure. And then there's 4 rookies that we don't know to this moment. We don't know who's going to play opposite Bryce Hall today. I'm sure
That's right.
it'll be a steady rotation early on, and then whoever's got the feel is who they're going to ride late. It's going to be interesting. It's 4 rookies. You hope you hit on 1 or 2 of them.
Right.
So
And
we'll
if the
see.
I was going to say, if the defensive line can apply some pressure, it'll make everything easier in the back end.
Yeah.
And with the way Sam Darnold looked at times with the New York Jets, today they'll have a chance to do so. You have a chance to hit home, rush some throws, and allow the secondary to make some plays, hopefully.
Yeah. I am. Look, I'm excited to see what the Jets look like. Obviously you want wins, but you just want to see the culture changing. You want to see something different. The last 2 years have just been absolutely brutal with Adam Gase. So this is exciting. This is big time.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. And this is one of the youngest teams in the league. I believe they're keeping a league high 11 rookies on the 53-man roster. That just shows you where they're at. They're playing the long game and develop these guys from the ground up. Brand new head coach, brand new quarterback. This is the reset button if I've ever seen it for the New York Jets.
Listen, not only do they have 11 on the roster, they're starting 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Wilson, Vera Tucker, Elijah Moore. Right on the defensive side, you got the 2 linebackers and whoever they decide to start at corner outside of Hall. They're starting 6 rookies today, 3 on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of room for error and a lot of room to make make a lesson out of a mistake with this team, and that's all they've preached so far. So it's nothing but optimism for the New York Jets. Unfortunately, the fans going to have some patience. I'll be at week 2, Zach versus Mac. Can't wait for that game.
Ooh.
It's going to be interesting. But
be good.
on the other side of this break, we're going to talk about some wagers, where the smart money is at today, where you need to bet your money in order to take home some money here on the first weekend of the NFL. Please keep it locked. It is the Brothers and Ball podcast.
All right, welcome back. This is the Brothers and Ball podcast. We are going to roll out here a segment that we're starting today called Smart Money. All right, where should you put your money today? Chris, I'm going to start here with you. Aaron Rodgers, neutral site against New Orleans, over under 2.5 touchdowns passing.
Hammer the over. This is the reigning MVP. We're talking about someone who is not going to have any rust on those tires. He's going to be slinging the ball all over the place. The most relevant offseason of his entire career comes after he wins an MVP and makes it to the conference final, loses to Tom Brady. He's fed up. He's tired of this. He's still got Devontae Adams. This might be their last go around together. He's coming for the MVP again. It's going to start this week. He's throwing at least 3. I would go with 4.
No rust. Neutral site doesn't matter.
None. Neutral site hurts New Orleans because New Orleans was supposed to be home in that dome. So they're playing in Jacksonville. It should be interesting. That's I think 4:25 game Fox. So
it is.
The smart money question I want to ask you, I want to spin it around to you. It's another quarterback over under 1.5 throwing touchdowns for Carson Wentz.
Okay, you just hammered the over. I'm hammering the under. Big time.
In Seattle. No, in Indianapolis
it's
versus
in Indy
Seattle.
versus Seattle. I'm hammering the under. Wentz, he's got a lot to prove. I mean, he looked so bad last year to the point where you couldn't even play him. They said he was hurt. He wasn't hurt. I mean, they just had to sit him down. It was enough was enough. So, yeah, I'm hammering the under. I think Seattle's going to find a way to bottom up a little bit. It should be a pretty competitive game, I think. But I don't see it being an enormous point total in the game.
Mm-hmm.
No T.Y. Hilton. We'll see. I go under though, big time here.
All right.
All right. Next one we got Arizona and Tennessee. Over or under 53.5 points total combined.
All right, 53.5. Now, this one
It's a
is
lot.
tricky for me. It's tricky. It is a lot of points. And especially for a week one game, maybe the offenses come out slow. Maybe the kickers are missing kicks like Greg Zuerlein was. But despite all that, I think these are two good enough offenses with enough weapons and two good enough quarterbacks to get you this over. I would go with the over. I think this is going to be a 31-28 game, something very similar to what we saw on Thursday night. Kyler Murray's putting up points, D-Hop, a lot of weapons over there. And then, of course, Derrick Henry is liable to go for 200 yards on any given day. This is going to be an offensive game. Hit the over on Arizona and Tennessee.
So you're putting the confidence in Ryan Tannehill here.
I did not mention his name. I put confidence in Derrick Henry. Tannehill has the biggest windows to throw into when you're talking about having to defend Derrick Henry. There's going to be Julio Jones wide open. There's going to be A.J. Brown streaking up the sideline. It's going to be easy pickings for Tannehill. But, the run game is going to be dominant for Tennessee again this year. And it starts today. I got to spin this around to you. Rookie quarterback over under 235 passing yards for Mac Jones against Miami. Over or under?
So I'm going to say under, but I don't think that necessarily means they can't win the game. I think Belichick is a great coach, and I think he is, going to put Mac Jones in positions to succeed. Similar to what the Jets are going to do with Zach Wilson today. Not ask them to do too much, do a lot of handing the ball off, kind of kill the clock, use your defense. So I think it's under, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion. I say under 235.5 yards.
Very nice. Very nice. So those are just some props. And, of course, the Arizona-Tennessee over-under. But the prop bets are really big. Those odds were provided by FanDuel, by the way.
So real quick, I just got the inactives for the Jets. So if you're planning on betting anything Jets, Keelan Cole and Michael P. Ryan are inactive today.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that doesn't really help if you're betting on any of the running backs. Really don't know who's going to dominate the backfield yet. Ty Johnson, Michael Carter, and Tevin Coleman are all going to get the ball a few times.
Yeah. P. Ryan felt like the odd man out anyway.
Right. But it's a big boost for Elijah Moore, perhaps Denzel Mims. There's, Corey Davis, of course, is someone you expect to get a lot of targets, but that's an interesting. Those are some interesting inactives for the Jets because now you're down to 5 receivers, 2 of which you didn't expect to see the field at all, with Berrios and Vincent Smith. So
maybe that means we see a little more Mims today, hopefully.
Yeah, 3 wide receiver sets. Hopefully it's him. Hopefully he shows some promise.
Yes, sir.
But we are going to hit another break, and then on the other side of the break, we are going to get into our picks. So all season long, each week, we are going to take 6 games, and we are going to tell you who is going to be on the right side of the spread. So please keep it locked for that. We're going to call that our NFL Pick'em here in 2021. We're going to keep our record going forward, and we'll see what happens, who's got the better record by the end of the season, me or Mike. So we will we'll be back with that
smart
on the
fans
other side.
now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We'll be back on the other side. It's the Brothers Involved podcast. Welcome back. It is the Brothers and Ball podcast. It is a special NFL Sunday edition. The games are about an hour and 15 minutes away, the 1 o'clock slate. So, of course, me and Mike have to get into some of our picks against the spread. We're going to keep track of them all season long. 6 picks a week, and we're going to see who comes out with the better record. Picking against the spread is always tough. You're bound to go under 500 when it comes to this stuff, based on the odds makers being so accurate with their numbers. So I want to ask you the first game that we're going to discuss here. Let's go with Miami and New England. New England is a minus 2.5 point favorite in New England. Who are you picking in that game?
So 2.5 is not a lot. So to me, this is essentially a pick. I'm taking Miami. I like the defense. I think they do just enough. I think that they bottle up the rookie. I'm going to take Miami getting the 2.5, but I actually like Miami to win the game, even though it's in New England.
Okay. Me, I'm on the flip side. I'm going to go with New England. I'm taking New England and Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is as good as advertised. So far in the preseason, a lot of people have been giving him some praise. And not only that, I really don't have that confidence in Tua. There's no reason for Miami to be talking about acquiring Deshaun Watson when that means in-house there's not a lot of confidence in Tua Tagovailoa. So I'm going with Mac Jones and New England and the better coaching staff, in my opinion. With the points, we're taking the points.
Yeah. So I mean, they only got to win by field. Well, like I said, it's essentially a pick 'em. You're essentially picking a winner here.
Yep.
All right.
there.
Let's flip it here. Let's go to Green Bay. Neutral site game, as we've mentioned. Green Bay minus 4.5 against New Orleans. What do you got?
So I alluded to it with the smart money. Aaron Rodgers going over 2.5 touchdowns. He's going to throw at least 3, and I have Green Bay winning this neutral site game. If it was a game that was in New Orleans in that dome, maybe this is a different outcome. Maybe I'm looking at that 4.5 and saying, okay, maybe I'll take it. It's interesting because the line actually moved. It was 3.5 before it changed to a neutral site. So the odds makers see that Green Bay now has a clear advantage in neutral site. I think Green Bay is just a better team, better quarterback, quarterback that's less likely to turn it over. Jameis Winston may turn this thing over a few times. I'm taking Green Bay. One of my most confident picks is them to win by 4.5.
Wow. So I'm on the flip side. I'm taking New Orleans. I have Jameis Winston having a resurgence. I think sitting watching Drew Brees did him big time well. He's still going to turn the ball over, but I think he's going to be a different quarterback this year. I think the Saints are going to be a very competitive team all year. I like this game to stay close. 31-27, 34-31, something like that. I'm taking New Orleans in the points. So we are on the flip side of 2 here early.
People forget that New Orleans took 2 in the regular season from Tampa Bay last season, and they made them look bad. It wasn't until the playoffs that Tampa Bay got them back.
Yeah, they did. They embarrassed them.
Yeah.
One game was brutal.
That's right.
All right.
That's right. So
what do we got next here?
Let's move forward here. So let's talk about the Pittsburgh and Buffalo game. Pittsburgh travels to Buffalo. Buffalo's almost a touchdown favorite, minus 6.5 points in favor of Buffalo. Who are you taking in this game here?
I'm taking Buffalo minus 6.5. I think they win by a touchdown. They're the better team. They're at home. There's fans. Bills Mafia is a real thing. And I'm starting not to have as much confidence in Big Ben. Najee Harris is a great pickup. I think Smith-Schuster's overrated. We got to see if Claypool's the real deal. I think there's too many question marks on Pitt's side to take the points. I'm taking Buffalo to win by at least a touchdown.
Okay. Once again, we're on opposing sides here, Mike.
Wow.
I'm with Pittsburgh and the points on the road. This is going to be a close one to the very end. Pittsburgh has a really, really good defense. TJ Watt getting signed is huge for them. You may have thought that he wasn't going to play, but now that he's got his contract solidified, he's going to be in there and flying around off the edge. Buffalo is really good, but it's a team that can't run the ball. They've never been able to run the ball. Josh Allen is the best running back on their team, similar to what Baltimore's working with Lamar being the best runner on their team. I can't get down with teams who can't establish the run. And Pittsburgh was that team last year, Now it's going to be a completely different Pittsburgh team this year. We're going to see Pittsburgh pound the rock a little bit with a couple new additions on the offensive line, a couple losses that may hurt. I think Pittsburgh keeps it close. Don't know if they win outright, but I'm taking the points and the Steelers on the road.
Wow.
Someone's right and someone's wrong early. This is going to be
someone's going to be in a hole
decisive week
early.
one.
Someone's going to be in a hole early. All right, let's go to what many people are calling the best game of the week. Kansas City, 5.5-point favorites against the Cleveland Browns. Kansas City at home. What do you got?
All right, so I'm going to take you on a little bit of a weird path here. The Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season last season, they kind of gave me those Golden State Warrior, I'm too good for the regular season type vibes, after they win their title and after they go 72-10, whatever it was, 73-9. They make me feel like they're too good for the regular season. For that reason, I'm taking Cleveland on the road here. Cleveland has a sour taste in their mouth. They couldn't beat Chad Henne. They had trouble last season in the postseason against Kansas City, and they should have won that game. I think Kansas City, there's going to be a lack of fire for them. Not to mention, Tyrann Mathieu a little banged up. It's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a lot closer than you think. This is one of the most talented teams in the league, with Cleveland on both sides of the ball.
No, I have Kansas City. Your theory would have worked last year, coming off the Super Bowl win. They're coming off a Super Bowl loss. Kansas City is hungry, and they're going to send a message today. They're going to let them know that, look, you still got to come through us to win this thing. I got Kansas City winning this thing by probably a couple scores. I think Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland's ready for this right now. I don't. I have Kansas City.
I think the decisive thing here is the thing I was thinking about is Cleveland's pass rush against a brand new offensive line. I get it. It's not the backups that played in the Super Bowl for Kansas City, but offensive line is that position where all five people need to be in sync together. I'm not sure if they're going to be ready week one. That's why I'm going with the Browns.
Good luck.
Yeah. So let's keep it moving here. We'll go with the Monday night game, and then we'll wrap it up with our final pick there. So the Monday night game is Baltimore traveling to Las Vegas Raiders. Baltimore is a minus 4-point favorite on the road. So we have a home dog here for the first time in our picks.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Because technically New Orleans is not home. But
correct.
Home dog Raiders. What are you thinking on the Monday night game?
So I'm taking the Raiders. Maybe a week ago I probably wouldn't have, but you're down 3 running backs. You're down your number 1 corner. It's in Vegas, and you're getting 4.5. I expect the game to be close. I'm taking Las Vegas on Monday night. It's going to be a big night there. I expect it to be an electric atmosphere there. They had no fans last year. So I expect Vegas to come out ready to roll. I'm taking them. I'm taking the 4.5 at home.
Wow. All right. So it seems like the Raiders get a home. It seems like they get the opening Monday night game every year.
Every year. Feels like it.
Right?
Feels like it.
They're doing their guy Gruden a solid there. So once again, on the opposite side here. I think Baltimore wins despite being down a bunch of running backs, bringing in guys that really aren't familiar with the system. Le'Veon Bell, Latavius Murray, Devontae Freeman. This is a revolving door at running back. It's not what I'm concerned with. It comes down for me. Lamar Jackson's going to be able to dominate this defense. He's an elite playmaker. He puts up points on the board. And despite not having Marcus Peters, you still have Marlon Humphrey. Still have a lot of playmakers on the defense. Baltimore's going to be able to win this game by at least 6. If it was 6.5, I don't know if they're winning by a touchdown. It's going to be a close game. Don't want to say it like it's a landslide, but Baltimore is too good of a team. Despite being down some running backs, any running back can get some holes when you have to game plan for Lamar to potentially keep that thing on the read option. One of those running backs is getting 70, 80 yards and just holding it over while Lamar runs for $120.
Wow. All right, so that's 5 games, and we're on the opposite side. For the record, we did not talk about the picks before this, so I'm a little
No
shocked.
collaboration. Just pick the games.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked by this, and we're gonna finish up here with our hometown Jets. All right.
Yep.
Being that we're Jet fans, I'm just gonna run off a couple inactives now. The full list is out. Josh Adams is out, or he's inactive. LaMichael P. Ryan is inactive. He's hurt. Quincy Williams, who the Jets just acquired, Quinn's brother, inactive. Rookie Jason Pinnock, so he's one of the rookies who will not get a chance today. Jonathan Marshall on the line, and then wide receiver Keelan Cole, who is hurt. And then let's see, for Carolina, they have nobody important sitting out.
And then Crowder's on the COVID-19 list.
And Crowder's on the COVID list. Yep. So Carolina is at home, and they're giving the Jets 5.5 points. What do you got?
I mean, it's only right. I got to go with the New York Jets here. I have to. I've seen a lot of problematic play from Sam Darnold, and unless he's able to completely flip the script here in week 1 against a very inexperienced secondary, I have no reason to be taking Carolina other than Christian McCaffrey, which I think the Jets may be able to bottle a little bit.
Yeah,
Defense,
like we
talked about. Right. We talked about it. Their front 4 and the front 7 is the strength of the team. So when it does come down to those passing downs where Sam Darnold, he's going to be passing, pin your ears back and go get the guy. And if you can cause him to make some frantic decisions, we've seen him make some really, really bad throws over his career, as much as I like the guy. To me, it comes down to the quarterback play. I really think the Jets have the better quarterback. After watching the preseason and training camp, I think the Jets have the better quarterback, and I think 5 points is a little bit too much here.
I'm going to agree with you. I think 5.5 is too many points. I don't know if the Jets win. I'd like to say the Jets have the better quarterback, but I don't know. Darnold has a lot of talent, and we'll see what he does in this new scheme. He's back with his buddy Robbie Anderson. I think Carolina is they could be sneaky this year. As long as you can protect Darnold and he finds a way to not turn the ball over as much, they're sneaky. But I do like the Jets to keep this thing within a few points today. So yeah,
Carolina definitely has the best player with McCaffrey on the field, of course.
And he's a game changer.
After that, the Panthers are not much better than the Jets, depending on which unit you're looking at. Their defense has been pretty awful for the past 2 years. So
it'll be interesting. They got the rookie cornerback. I wonder if they're going to throw him right at Corey Davis. I mean, that could be a welcome to the league moment. Corey Davis.
Right, J.C. Horn.
Yeah, it could be a
Dante Jackson. Two very good corners.
Yeah, so we'll see what Horn's about. It could be a welcome to the league moment, where he gets maybe the Jets beat him a few times there.
Yeah.
So all
right. So we got 5 picks that are going to be decided here. Someone's getting a win, someone's getting a loss, and then the Jets we're on the same page with. So get used to that. We're going to be making 6 picks a week going forward here. That's right, and we'll see who comes out with the better record by the end. We'll keep track all season long.
We'll keep the standings. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So on the other side, we are going to discuss our big picture predictions. We made them way too early after free agency and after the draft. We are going to revisit and make any amendments here just before the season officially kicks off. So please keep it locked. It is the Brothers and Ball podcast. All right, you know what it is, Brothers and Ball podcast. We are wrapping it up here, our very last segment. We have to revisit our we made a playoff prediction a while ago, one of our most recent podcasts, and we picked our division winners as well as our wild cards and who we have in the conference finals, conference championships, and who we have winning the Super Bowl. So we got to revisit it, make any changes we want to before this thing officially gets kicked off. So, Mike, I want you to get us started here. NFC. Tell me what you have going on with the NFC.
All right. So my division winners did not change from, a month or two ago. Okay. I have Giants, Well, I really, really like. I love their coach. I love the defense. Barkley's back. I love Kadarius Toney and Kenny Galladay.
Mhm.
The big question is going to be protecting Daniel Jones. I think with protection, he can find those weapons. So the offensive line is where we need to watch. But I think the defense wins them enough games to take that division, which, they're just going to beat each other up.
Mhm.
Green Bay, I don't think there's any competition. No way can Andy Dalton and the Bears. You better go to Fields if you want any shot. No way Kirk Cousins has a shot. And Detroit, they don't even know what they're doing down there. There's no way Green Bay wins that easy. Green Bay can
Mhm.
put Jordan Love in and win the division. Tampa Bay, we saw what they did Thursday night. They're going to be incredibly difficult to stop. They're going to win the division as well. Atlanta, Carolina, I don't see anything. I'm high on Jameis Winston. I don't think they do enough to win the division. I'm taking Tampa.
Mhm.
And then obviously the toughest division of them all, I think, is the West. I mean, you could pick any of the 4 teams to win the division, and I don't think anybody would would poo-poo any of your picks. I'm going to
Right.
take the Rams. I'm not high on Garoppolo. If they have to go to Lance, he's still a rookie, so I think he would take his lumps. Seattle didn't add enough. They're going to be defensively. They're going to be not where they need to be.
Mhm.
So I'm going to take the Rams there, and then my wild cards. Two of my teams stayed the same. So Seattle is going to be in. San Francisco is going to be in.
Mhm.
And it's not that I think they're going to be great teams. I just don't see anybody from the South or the North making the playoffs outside of the winners. And then the NFC East, I think, is just going to be beating each other up. So my one switch is I had Washington. I took them out, and I'm adding Dallas based off what I saw from Dak on Thursday night. If he plays like that, there's no way Dallas does not make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So I tend to agree with a lot of what you had going on. Start with the obvious ones. In the South, the Bucks are definitely going to win that division.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty easy to say, barring any sort of catastrophe. Packers in the North, it's a very similar situation. Packers are going to win that division. We're talking about Brady and we're talking about Rodgers, so we can move forward from that.
Right.
I understand you are very high on the Giants. I had Dallas from the beginning. I'm sticking with Dallas. I
Okay.
think they win the division. I think they're one of the better regular season teams this year. 49ers, I have winning out west. And
Okay.
I think they're
Is
just due
is
for a
that with
rise back to
Garoppolo?
prominence.
With Garoppolo?
Garoppolo doesn't finish the season. No, Lance
Okay.
comes in and it turns into a more dynamic offense.
So they're going to switch to Lance, and they're still going to win the division with the rookie.
Yes, Lance is a
Okay.
better player in my opinion.
Uh,
So those are my division winners.
mhm.
Wild card, I'm looking back at it, and I really don't know what I was going for here with one of my wild card choices. My best wild card team was the Cardinals. Sticking with them,
Yeah.
still have them making the playoffs. For some reason, I had the second team as the Vikings. They're
Mm.
getting crossed off. They are not making the playoffs.
Mm.
Um, cannot put that confidence in Kirk Cousins. I do think the West is going to beat each other up a bit, but they're still such a good division that
Yeah.
their games outside of division are going to be very much winnable. So
Mhm.
yeah, they'll give each other some wins and some losses, but the Seahawks are my second wild card team,
Wow.
and the third wild card team I have is the Washington football team. That division, they're going to be able to take some games from those other teams. Amazing defense that they have. And you know me, my biggest omission, probably in your opinion, is going to be the Rams.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy to me. That's
I
absolutely
don't,
bonkers.
I don't have any confidence in Matt
Absolutely bonkers.
Stafford. Do you know that he's 8-68 versus teams with a winning record?
He played for the Detroit Lions.
He's 8-68 versus teams with a winning record. He's
So is
got
every
three
quarterback that's
teams in
ever
that
played for the
division.
Detroit Lions.
He's got three teams in that division that are going to be winning teams record wise. He is going to get a reality check over there out west
So I love
with the
Washington
Rams.
football. I love the Washington football team. I'm a little scared of Fitzpatrick. He's never
Mm-hmm.
made the playoffs once. So that's the reason why I took them out. And I like Dak more than Fitzpatrick, obviously. I
Yeah,
think he carries him over that. But yeah, the Rams not making the playoffs is just absolutely nuts. Nuts.
we'll see. we'll see. I'm not saying they'll be a bad team, but they'll be floating right around 500, and they miss a wild card spot.
Absolutely nuts. All right, AFC, we're ready?
Yeah, let's spin this around and go over the AFC here. I got a lot of changes in the AFC.
Do you? So
Yeah.
I find this to be pretty self-explanatory. So AFC East, I have Buffalo. I think they're the most complete team. Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, rookies. I don't see them sneaking in. Miami's a good team. Tua holds them back from winning the division. Tennessee is the only choice in that division.
Yes.
Colts, no. Jacksonville, rookie quarterback. Houston, they don't know what they're doing.
No shot.
So
Worst team in the
Tennessee.
league.
So I flip-flopped Baltimore and Cleveland. So I have Cleveland winning the division based off those Baltimore injuries. I think the Marcus Peters injury is going to hurt them more than people think.
Yeah.
So I have Cleveland winning the division and then Kansas City winning the West. So that's Buffalo, Tennessee, Cleveland, Kansas City. Wild cards. My first wild card team is going to be the Chargers.
Okay.
I think Justin Herbert is a dark horse MVP candidate. Next is Baltimore. They're a loaded roster. I just don't see them winning the division. And then this one, you can go either way. But I look up and down the AFC, and I don't see many other really good teams. So I'm going to go with Miami based off their roster. I think they have a talented roster. It just depends on that quarterback.
Yeah. If Tua can put it together a little bit, that team is going to be a contender to make the playoffs for sure. As far as my AFC picks go, I had the Pats when we did this originally. Patriots winning the AFC East, and I'm going to stick with it. I think that they're going to be a double-digit win team for sure, and they're going to be able to assert themselves, get themselves back to where they once were, atop that division. Now, the South, this is where I had to change things up. Had big expectations for the Colts. Now their offensive line's banged up. Now Carson Wentz doesn't have that COVID vaccine. He already had been put on that list and taken off. He's going to play week 1, but it's just I don't like their formula to go forward here. I do think they're going to be a solid team, just not division. They're not better than the Titans. Titans are my new division winner there. And as far as the North, I did the same thing with as you. I had the Ravens going to flip to the Browns. The Browns have 2 amazing running backs and all those weapons. It's a great defense. The Browns are going to be hard to beat this year. Chiefs win the West, of course. First wild card team we share, the Los Angeles Chargers, another very good team, top to bottom. Brand new head coach. Hopefully he can make it work with that great quarterback that you mentioned. Second wild card is going to be Baltimore. We'll share that as well. Ravens, Lamar Jackson's just too good. He wins a crazy percentage of his games. Crazy percentage of his games. So they win. They get to the second wild card. I'm sorry. And then the third wild card, Buffalo, will make the playoffs. I'm not going to do any outrageous move and say they won't. But I'm still not a believer in Josh Allen. I don't think he has the year he had last year. That's part of the reason why I'm taking New England.
He's
part
got
of the reason why I'm taking New England.
incredible MVP odds this year, Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's absurd. It's absurd. I just think that New England spending all that money, they're going to get back to where they want to be, offensively and defensively.
Wow.
So we go over conference championship and Super Bowl again. Did yours change?
Yeah. Go ahead. I do have a little bit of a change. Go ahead.
So do I. So in the AFC, I had the Ravens. They're not going to make it to the Super Bowl, or I'm sorry, they're not going to make it to the conference final if they have this, these banged up running backs and these veterans that are really over the hill. They are not in their best shape at this point. So I have the Titans making it to that point. Finally, they figure out a way with Julio, with A.J. Brown, to win some playoff games. Teams just zone in on Derrick Henry. You have to be able to have an additional weapon in order to score some points. That game last year versus the Ravens was painful. So the Titans make it to the conference championship. They lose to the Chiefs. Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Should I go over my AFC, NFC as well?
No, I'll do my AFC real quick.
Go ahead.
So Kansas City's going to make it. Now, obviously, we don't know how it's going to line up. I'd have to go down. I love the Chargers a lot. A lot. So I'm going Kansas City. Yeah, I'm going Kansas City and the Los Angeles Chargers.
Wow. First year head coach.
Yeah, I think Justin Herbert is that good. I do. Weapons are there. Derwin James is healthy. Eckler is playing today. Everyone had their doubts about him starting. No, he's playing today, so he's putting that to rest.
That's right.
I think Staley,
Hamstring injury.
being a defensive coach, I'm telling you, he's going to do big things for that defense. And obviously, I have Kansas City going to the Super Bowl because there's no other choice. But I like the Chargers. I do. I really, really do.
Nice. I like it. Out on a limb there with that one.
Yeah.
So my NFC Championship game, I'm not sure if you remember it, but no changes from me. We saw it on Thursday night.
Oh,
Dallas
Christ.
versus the Bucks. It's going to
Oh,
be in
God.
Tampa Bay again. Bucks are going to have the better regular season record. They'll be hosting the game. That rematch is going to be very much anticipated. Can't wait for that to happen. I'm sticking to that one, and the Bucks are going to win. I'm sticking to that Super Bowl rematch. Kansas City and Tampa Bay, and I'm sticking with my pick of the Chiefs as well. Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. They're going to get that revenge.
Okay, so I'm going Tampa Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams.
In the conference final.
Correct. And I am taking Tampa Bay as well.
Okay, Tampa Bay versus Kansas City.
Yep. And wow. I'm going Tampa Bay, which is a switch. I'm going Tampa Bay over
Bay to
Kansas
win it
City
all.
in a rematch. Yeah, I just think Antonio Brown is going to be the best receiver on that team, which is scary.
Yep.
You don't even have to use Gronk like you did the other night. You got all these other tight ends that can play. You just wait to the playoffs for Gronk. Tampa Bay is scary, and Brady is just going to continue to build his legacy. And since he's left New England, I find myself rooting for him a lot more.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I wasn't as mad that he came down and snaked the win from Dallas at the very end there on Thursday night. I don't know what's more absurd, you picking Matt Stafford to make the conference championship or you picking the first-year head coach at the Los Angeles Chargers. I have to say I'm alarmed by your picks there.
Why?
Yeah,
There's no need to be
Coast, you're giving the West Coast a lot of love there.
A lot of love. Look, the Chargers, I mean, they were 3 or 4 games, close games where they flipped the other way. They're in the playoffs last year. Rams, look, Goff's not holding them back. I like Stafford a lot. He's a better quarterback than Goff. I don't care what you say. You and I both know he's a better thrower of the football and a better quarterback than Goff.
Goff's made the Super Bowl before.
Oh my God, he scored 3 points.
Still made it there.
You want to talk about stats?
Look, prolific offense there.
So let's put it like this.
Until that game.
Let's put it like this. Let's see what Goff does with the Lions in comparison to what Stafford did with them.
Okay,
he doesn't have
that's fine.
He doesn't have too much to beat, and I don't think he's better. I don't think he does better than what Stafford did.
Stafford got to go 2 ways though. I want to see what Stafford does with the Rams because Goff still had the Rams in the playoffs last year.
Correct.
Despite being banged up towards the end, we'll see.
Rams make the playoffs. They have a great head coach. They have weapons. They have running backs. Their defense is incredible. Stafford makes them better than they were last year.
Well, that's that. That's our picks. The Los Angeles love over there is crazy from you. But we had to make some changes here before the season gets started. A lot changed from free agency and the draft until now. So I'm glad that we got those on paper and on record here. But before we wrap this up, we're about 40 minutes away from kickoff here.
Yes, sir.
What do you have to say for the people?
1 o'clock, Jets, lock in. Let's look for that culture change we were talking about. A team that is going to play hard. A team that shows other players around the league that this is somewhere you want to come play. Make it an attractive destination. I think Robert Salah is well on his way to that. And I'm excited to see the rookie quarterback. Let's see what he's got.
Absolutely. A smart money bet that we didn't really mention. Zach Wilson's winning that Rookie of the Year. going to win that Rookie of the Year. If not, Najee Harris. They're both going to be neck and neck
Yeah,
there.
I like
big
Najee
on the
Harris's
Najee
situation. So
Yeah.
Najee, they're gonna be feeding him.
Yeah, 400 touches coming Najee's way this
Yeah,
year.
he's gonna be getting the ball crazy.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. That's the Brothers and Ball podcast. We will be back once a week here to go over some NFL headlines and some other things that are going on at this point. We got baseball winding down. We'll get to it. But this week we had to put all hands on deck for the NFL. I'm so excited for today.
Yes, sir. So am I.
All right. That's Michael Douglas. I'm Christopher Douglas. Please tune in going forward. We're going to have some great NFL insight. And thank you for listening. This is the Brothers and Ball podcast.